I heckin' love TenZ, so I bought the TenZ Wooting 80HE edition. This is Wooting's latest keyboard, aside from their Wooting 60HE V2. It is basically an upgraded Wooting 80HE with a black and red colorway, essentially fit for TenZ. It also features these custom switches. We'll be diving in whether or not this keyboard's worth it for you. If you're debating between the 60HE and the Wooting 80HE, TenZ edition or the regular Wooting 80HE, we'll be diving into which one you should pick overall for all that stuff. Now, let's just get right into it. So first off, let me show you guys the board off. You get this beautiful black and red, a Wooting 80HE. You have this custom sub-die PBT keycaps, cherry profile, better than the OEM profiles. They are pretty similar, but I do prefer cherry overall. They feel really good. They're not very reflective. They keep the aesthetic very pristine, and there's like a nice colorway. The keyboard comes preloaded with TenZ's settings on what he uses on a daily basis. So think of it as, in a way, you're basically getting the keyboard he has on his desk one-to-one. Same settings, same setup, and everything. I did not get the signature on the back of mine. If some people might have been able to get the signature on TenZ's keyboard, he signed 100 of them, so some people got lucky and probably got the signature on their board. I'll post a photo of what that looks like. But as you can see at the top of the plate here, you can actually see the red LEDs through the plate, and you can also see them through the side. It is a semi-translucent case. Now, it's a lot easier to notice these lights on camera. In person, you won't really notice them going through the case. You don't see them from the front, really only the side and the back, but it is kind of a nice feature. And speaking of the lights, what makes these lights quite unique on this board compared to their other boards, is I'll post another picture right here, is that the FR4 plate, which you guys don't know, is the plate that goes above the PCB, which is essentially the motherboard of the keyboard, is blackened out to kind of create this more muted and subtle lighting opposed to a brighter lighting. Because if the FR4 plate was white, it would make the lights more pronounced. But because it's black, what happens is the plate absorbs the lights and creates this more stealth looking board. Now, originally when I got the board, it came at like 40% brightness, but I put it up to 70 so you guys could see it a bit more. The other thing we need to talk about are the switches that come with the board. These are the Lecker Tekken switches. These are Wooting's newest switches. These are the standard ones right here, the blue ones, but this is the TenZ edition ones, and what they are is they have a lighter spring, and they're easier to press. And one thing that's very unique about these switches that you will notice when you're using this keyboard is the fact that you can really feel yourself bottoming out. When you click them, you can really feel them hitting the bottom. So if you're somebody that like hard presses, you kind of get that physical actuation, almost like a mechanical board, that you feel the keyboard pressing down, which is quite unique. I haven't had this on my other HE keyboards, and they're definitely a lot better than the normal Leckers. So if you're somebody that's on the OG Wooting 60HE or even the Wooting 80HE, you're probably still on the Lecker V4s or V2s, depending which ones you're using. Another unique thing that they added with this keyboard is they changed the keyboard feet. Apparently the old 80HE had a problem with dust getting stuck all over them. These ones are more dust proof, so it looks better aesthetically if you use them. I don't really use keyboard feet, so for me it's not really like anything groundbreaking or innovating. And you also get a keycap puller and a switch puller, and you also get a unique box, which you can see here. It's an all black and red Wooting box. Usually Wooting's packaging is white. Here you get a black and red one, and you also get this thing to press down on the keyboard when it's in your, well, it presses down on your keyboard without actually like touching it. It kind of like keeps it stable so it doesn't like get messed up in packaging, which is like, or on shipping, which is really nice of Wooting to do. And the bottom of the box also comes with the TenZ logo. One more upgrade is also they added foam to the spacebar, so the spacebar is a lot more muted. It just seems like TenZ really wanted this to be a more muted stealth board overall. And you also get a thank you letter from TenZ and from Wooting. Very nice as always. Did TenZ actually read this before he gave it to you, like this specific one? Probably not, but it is still a cool touch to have. See, I wasn't really a fan of the TenZ Pulsar mouse. It wasn't like to my liking. I'm surprised the keyboard, I do enjoy it a lot more. It is a pretty hefty priced board in the market of Hall Effect keyboards now, because Hall Effect keyboards have kind of advanced so much. We have so many different options. So what really makes you want to pick Wooting over the other options? So that's kind of what we're going to go through here, is if you're somebody that loves TenZ and wants like a very reliable keyboard, a long warranty, this is a very great option. That's like kind of the basis, and the best software in the game has to go to Wooting. Wooting is somebody that always updates their software anytime there's something groundbreaking in the HE community. We could see that with the Razer stuff. They're right there, day one, they're going to implement whatever is newest, whatever's best for gamers. But here's the thing. These Lekker Tekken switches, they're nice, they feel nice for gaming, but they aren't the best switches for Wooting. So Gravistar hit me up, and there's a Wooting tier list chart of switches. What are the best switches for the Wooting? They hit me up and they said, hey, you want to try our UFO switches? And they sent them out to me, and I've been using these on my TenZ. So now I have the best Wooting HE with the highest rated switches with the Wooting HE. Now granted, these are on the more expensive side. As you can see, they have a custom molded UFO design, and they're very easy to pull out with the keycap puller that is included. Now these are a thockier sound profile. I have sound test of both at the end of the video. These are thockier than the Tekkens. The Tekkens are more of like a muted clack. They're a little bit clacky, a little bit kind of like scratchy feeling. They are lubed, but they're a little bit scratchy feeling to me. You can really feel that bottoming out, but on this, it's kind of like more of a deep thock. They're very pleasant to play on. You know, I wouldn't say they feel as spammy as the Tekkens because they're so stable. They're the most stable and precise switches you can buy. They literally have like almost no wobble. They're very insane. So if you want the most precise, most stable switches you can buy, you know, you should go for the UFOs, and they sound amazing. They feel very nice. They're literally no wobble on any of your keys at all. The Tekkens are also very good in that regard, but they're not as good as the UFOs in my opinion. So if you do want the best switches, I would advise the UFOs. They're even recommended by Wooting themselves. And yeah, now it is a plastic case. That's one thing I'll comment on. I think if this was like aluminum or zinc, this would make this board absolutely insane. Of course, that would make the price higher, you know, compared to my other boards. The one thing that when I picked it up, I'm like, oh, it's like plastic, you know, it's not as heavy, doesn't feel as premium, but you know, for them to make this collab affordable for most people, I assume they had to go with the plastic option. I mean, even the Optimum case on the Wooting store is like very expensive, even compared to their plastic counterpart. And oh yeah, you also get like a black and red cable, which you guys can see, like it's kind of like patterned. Now, in regards to the question of should I buy this, the Wooting ADHE or the TenZ ADHE, is I would go for the TenZ strictly because you're getting those Lekker Tekken switches, which are much superior to the OG Lekkers overall. Some people say they're kind of similar to the Gion Raws. I've not tried the Gion Raws personally, but that's kind of the consensus I've seen online. You're also getting, like I said, an upgraded spacebar, this very nice plastic casing with the nice semi-translucence on the side, and a unique black FR4 plate. So overall, it's a pretty unique board. If you're trying to choose between this one and the standard Wooting ADHE, one fact I would like for you guys to keep in mind though is if you're choosing this between the Wooting 60HE V2, I wouldn't really think about latency numbers too much. They both run 8K Hertz polling. They're both pretty similar in that regard. That really comes down to a few factors. If you want a split spacebar, then you'd have to go with the 60HE V2 route. But if you're somebody, for example, that loves arrow keys, I know there's certain features like mod tap and layering that you can do to kind of bypass the 60% form factor and still be able to implement arrow keys into the keyboard, but you know, it still doesn't beat actually having dedicated arrow keys and an F row on your board. If you're somebody that finds yourself using these keys quite often, or just hate pressing function plus a number in order to use an actual F row command, then I would still go for the 80% form factor. If you're somebody that doesn't have too much room on your desk, the 60% is a good choice, but if you've already played on an 80% and you're used to the 80% form factor or a TKL, you can definitely still use an 80%. You don't have to go down to 60%. But if split spacebar is the thing you want, then go for the 60HE V2. You also have an aluminum option with that one, which is pretty good. And yeah, that's really it. It's been Kami. I'll have the sound tests right after this.